earlier in this year, I had this idea like, oh, we should buy 3 houses this year in 22. Like we can get loans and buy 3 houses. We bought one. It was so painful to close on it. And I thought we're not going to be able to do that 2 more times this year. And then we found Michael and Katrina within about 5 weeks of meeting them. We had the second deal and now we've got a third in the works and we can do 1 to 2 a month. They've given us a great system that'll let us kind of serially start and run Airbnbs.
Yeah. So we pay, it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, just an apartment, 3rd floor apartment. And it's about $2,100 a month in rent. And then a few other expenses on top. So we could say, I don't know.
We'll say 2,300
yeah.
Total expense per month.
Mm-hmm. And right now, I'm checking, it's been, if we just look at within the first 30 days that it's been up and running, we are at, I think, 5,800 in just the rental income. So in the first month, that's 75% occupancy because counting the first week that we had it out there for people to find, right? So we've been increasing the prices and based on strategies we learned in the boot camp, where we're saying, okay, if people are willing at this price, let's increase it a little and see where we can get.
So I'm not a mathematician by any means, but you said 2,300 is your input cost, and then you pulled out 5,800 your first month. So by my arithmetic, at least I'm calculating over $3,500 in profit. Am I missing anything?
Net profit off of one property.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Thanks for joining us here today. Guys, we've done a lot of videos here, particularly recently on the ever explosive STR investment class. So short-term rentals, for those of you that do not know, guys, it's a long-term play that also has short-term positive net cash flow potential with it. So you can kind of get multiple bites at the apple. We've featured Michael and Katrina from BNB Bootcamp here on the channel for a number of years for really 2 singular reasons. And that's one singular reason would be they are consistently getting results. We do like to have their personalities here and their smiling faces. So that goes without saying. We brought it back here on the channel today. We just dropped a video recently about kind of the state of the union with what's going on with STRs, guys. There is crazy stuff out there right now. Today, guys, we want to hear living, breathing proof of the proof in the pudding with y'all. So Michael and Katrina, love having you guys on here. I'm going to skip over y'all. Love having you here. Love to have crosstalk, but we've got Michael and Holland here on the channel here today. They have been with you for just a few short months. So my understanding is 2 months. They already have 2 properties under contract, whether it's the partnership or the arbitrage. So guys, if you are unsure what I'm talking about, we're going to go ahead and drop that playlist below. Be sure to check on that before you reach out to Michael and Katrina and see if it's a good fit. If you know now that this could be a good fit, go ahead and reach out to them. It's going to be BNB Bootcamp at VIPfinancialeducation.com. Let's kick it off with your backstory. What industry were y'all in? What's your background?
Yeah, so we are both full-time employed at this point. I'm a data analyst at a software company. Michael is a CPA, and we've been wanting to get into real estate. And so that's really what started our journey towards short-term rentals, is we thought, well, you got to buy a property, a rental property, and then kind of ended up in the short-term rental space.
Yeah, we knew we wanted real estate, and we got to a point in our careers where we were making more money than we were spending, and we didn't want to just keep pumping it all into the stock market, and we're glad we didn't today, and have a little bit more control over our own investment income. And so we bought a property that we're sitting in right now that is our first vacation rental.
Got it. Okay, so you guys are staying in the property a portion of the time, so it's not obviously your primary, but you guys are in it right now as we speak.
We're just visiting it for the day.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so you guys are literally in one of your properties. That's super cool. We have not done that yet here on the channel, and very awesome. So what was sexy about real estate to you? And then particularly what was exciting about the STR space?
We've been in, stocks, options, futures. We had been focusing on that for a number of years due to a background of a job I was in. And we kind of were not happy with how that was ending up after a while. And we bought a house here in Florida and noticed, within a year between 2020 to 2021, the huge appreciation we got, and just the amazing investment that was. And we thought, we've got to buy more, let's keep going with this and figure out the best way possible. And so that's where we started looking for that second property. And it was actually our realtor who kind of turned us on to the short-term rental idea.
Yeah, our realtor and friend from church who turned us on to the short-term rental idea. It's funny that we spent a whole year watching our house be built from 2020 to 2021. And so for a whole year, we were focused on real estate and our new house. And then so we moved in mid-21 and we loved, picking things out for it and designing it a little bit. And by the end of 21, our house that we live in was pretty well designed and thought out. And then I joked that I thought, well, we're kind of bored now. What are we good at? Oh, we're good at buying houses. Let's go buy another house.
Right.
And we got hooked.
And that's the bug that bites people with real estate investing. I mean, once you see kind of that proof of concept, your first deal go, actually from soup to nuts all the way, close to close, there's something cathartic about that. And I got hooked. You guys are obviously hooked at this point. So compare kind of your day-to-day. Is your long-term goal to get out of y'all's W-2s and transition into this in a full-time capacity and just be entrepreneurs, or a combination of two, or you guys are going to keep this as kind of a side hustle?
Yeah, great question. Now that I'm in it, I'm like, I want to do this all the time. So I'm working toward that point where I think I would be first to get into this full time, and then be able to transition Michael out of his job as well. We call it, being full-time in the business, but not even having to work full-time. That would be the ideal, is we have stuff set up, we have it running, and then we're able to do our own thing as well.
Yeah, and that's really cool, because I know one of the biggest benefits that the BNB Bootcamp provides is just that structure. So just kind of that automation and those automation tools on how to make your life easier. Look, guys, there's some definite inherent benefits with working for yourself versus a W-2, but no one's trying to buy another job, right? That you're beholden to a 9-to-5 schedule. So one of the great things about being an entrepreneur is you guys are getting to set your schedule, or ultimately will get to set your schedule and kind of create time for your family and just live life on your own terms, correct?
Yep.
I want to backpedal a little what she said. I'm happy with my job. I don't need to leave it. But if she starts earning so much money that I'm pulled away, okay.
Right, twist my arm. We're making so much money, honey, that we need you to actually leave your itchy W-2 job to come, get involved in the family business here. Yeah, that'll be a tough day. So our channel loves to talk about numbers. If you guys mind sharing some numbers, if you don't, sure, that's okay too. And again, these are off the cuff. So if it's off limits, we can even just talk about lifestyle. So you guys are just kind of the tip of the iceberg with this right now. You guys obviously see the earning potential. You've seen it, you studied it for a while, you took action, you're here now, right? So based on what you're seeing, based on conservative projections, what's the apple to the orange going to look like, your W-2 versus your kind of at least temporary side hustle here with the BNB?
Yeah, so right now, since we just started this, this current rental in April, I think, we're just barely above break even. So we're not that confident in just this one. So that's where we wanted to build and scale. So we now have 2 properties. The second one, we didn't have to buy. It's a rental arbitrage deal. Actually doing better than this one that we bought, because we didn't have to outlay that down payment and, have issues with the lender and issues like that we signed that lease, we set it up, and it's going. So now that we have the 2 and looking to have our third by the end of August, it's feeling a lot closer to, it's the net revenue is closer to my monthly salary, that it's going to become a no-brainer pretty soon, I think, to focus on scaling and building the business to, full-time versus working and then doing this at the same time.
Yeah, I see Katrina smiling, and she should smile, because Holland is like your biggest, well, I hope she's one of your biggest success stories. Earlier in this year, I had this idea we should buy 3 houses this year in 22. We can get loans and buy 3 houses. We bought one. It was so painful to close on it. And I thought, we're not going to be able to do that 2 more times this year. And then we found Michael and Katrina, and within about 5 weeks of meeting them, we had the second deal, and now we've got a third in the works, and we can do 1 to 2 a month. What would stop us? they've given us a great system that'll let us kind of serially start and run Airbnbs or short-term.
We're all talking.
Everyone at the same time. Yeah, you go, Michael.
If I may, yeah. So let's just talk a little bit more specifically about some of the numbers you guys are experiencing. So you mentioned you bought the house. It was a very exciting investment, but it sounded like the way you were kind of running it initially might have been running into some snags until you came into BNB Bootcamp. But by learning what you learned with us, that enabled you to, really start to scale a lot quicker with a lot less money out of pocket. So on this second deal in particular, just kind of walk us through the numbers. Like, what does rent look like? What do operating expenses look like? What are you pulling in and booking revenue? And now I know we're super early into this.
Like you guys are like quote unquote newbies. Like I'm smiling because you're like, I'm almost replacing my income after 6 weeks of the program. Like I couldn't be more proud. Right. Like that's exactly what I would love.
And in that same vein, even though it's early on, guys, a sample size is a sample size, so if you do have deals under your belt at this point, I mean, you can extrapolate data and project it out in the future. So even in a few short months, I love the question there, Michael. So what would let's take house 1, house 2, what does that look like to your bottom line?
Well, like Michael was talking about, let's talk about house 2, the rental arbitrage one, and Holland pulled some numbers for it. Yeah.
So we pay, it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, just an apartment, 3rd floor apartment. And it's about $2,100 a month in rent. And then a few other expenses on top. So we could say, I don't know.
We'll say $2,300 total expense per month.
And right now, I'm checking, it's been, if we just look at within the first 30 days that it's been up and running, we are at, we're expected to take in, I think, $5,800 in just the rental income. And so there we are.
So you're already at 2.5x plus on it. Got it.
Yeah. Okay. So after that's the first month, and we've got a few, week long or 2 week long. That's really just filling in our calendar, and people are high demand. We even have people are on a wait list right now. So, we are super excited about this one. So in the first month, that's 75% occupancy because counting the first week that we had it out there for people to find, right? So that has been on a really good trajectory. We've been increasing the prices, and based on strategies we learned in the bootcamp, where we're saying, okay, if people are willing at this price, let's increase it a little and see where we can get.
So I'm not a mathematician by any means, but you said 2,300 is your input cost, and then you pulled out 5,800 your first month. So by my arithmetic, at least I'm calculating over $3,500 in profit. Am I missing anything?
Net profit off of one property.
Yeah. We spent maybe like $5,000 to $6,000 on furniture for it, so that's about half paid off. Or maybe,
well, and that's going to be standard on a lot of these deals. There is going to be some, and albeit that's $6,000 is not light, but there is going to be a little bit of a capital outlay depending on which model, whether it's the partnership versus the arbitrage, of course. So, but once that's paid off, then you're in the black. So all of these strategies, obviously, you've learned through the boot camp. There, you've got a software and a CPA background. You guys are numbers folks. Obviously, I'm a numbers guy as well. So you guys, my understanding is you guys researched for a while. Talk about that lead up. So what were you seeing? Ultimately, what made you pull the trigger?
Yeah, for me, it was knowing that we had gone through we were 2 months into our first Airbnb. It's our own house that we own. We just barely bought, and we were not even at break even month to month, from the monthly costs. And we had also had the setup costs and everything. And I went, okay, I'm a little worried about this being a long-term viable option because we can't, it's a big house. It's a 3-bedroom. It's right by the beach. All these amazing things coming into summer. And I was like, what if we can't make it work? And so I was worried that we had just done this and then we'd be basically paying to have people stay in our house and to do all this work. So that was my feeling. Like I need a little bit of help to just keep expanding and be able to improve my current situation and keep going from here.
It sounds like you were kind of hedging your bet. I don't know what your exposure was on that first house, but if you guys were feeding it, you were obviously upside down, a little bit underwater on it. effectively you were paying the entry fee to go through this coaching so that you were protecting your investment.
Yeah, and the price to get into the BNB Bootcamp was thousands of dollars. And I thought about it for a second and it was like, oh man, we noticed that leaving our bank account, that amount of money. But then we thought about, well, couldn't we make that all back on this one house? If it gets this house, this rental property profitable in the thousands of dollars a month, it could be paid back in a few months. And then we're going to have it for the next 5, 10, 15 years at that new increased rate. So it's worth it in the long run for sure.
Yeah, no, and that's what we hear time and time again, guys. There is an upfront cost with it, and that's not a light one. But and Matthew and I talk often here offline with Michael and Katrina, guys. We think this is undervalued. It's underpriced right now because the tremendous value that people are getting out of this. We've got folks that have gone through their program and they are 7 figures inside of 12 months. This is the real deal. If you're interested, you know you are right now, and you at least want to have a talk with Michael and Katrina and their team, go ahead and email BNB Bootcamp. We'll drop that link below at VIPfinancialeducation.com. Include your first, your last name, the best number to reach at, and obviously BNB Bootcamp in the subject line. So what's your long-term goal? So right now you guys are working on your third property. What's the goal by the end of 2022?
Michael is the goal person.
I'm the big numbers guy.
Yeah.
That's the yin and the yang. Got it. So you guys already have that figured out.
Yeah. So, I'm good at okay, I see this next property being live by September 1st. And I think we are hoping to have 2 to 3 more properties by the end of the year. And that will be we don't want to buy another house right now. We could do rental arbitrage, or we're really trying to find a partnership or managing someone's existing rental that we can pick up, improve, and just take it from there.
Yeah. So let's just call it 10 by the end of the year.
Okay. So, well, and I love that, guys. And that's obviously achievable. You're 2 months in right now. You're working on number 3. I mean, so if you 6X that, obviously you guys are above what your, or even short-term goals would be. Let's look 5 years down the road. What are, that longest term goal, 10 years down the road? So, all right, Holland, you leave your W-2, then it's exponential, right? So then you're on this full-time, whatever full-time means, on your own schedule, right? Then what does that look like? So let's fast forward the tape to year 2, year 3, and beyond. What does that look like for y'all?
So pretty much we want to become Michael and Katrina. So we want to have 40 to 50.
I mean, so do I, but I'm singular. I can't duplicate myself.
We're like the American Michael and Katrina, the American.
Got it.
So yeah, having those 40 to 50 properties that we're controlling, and having a team of people where, they're specialized in, go set up a property, go, figure out this pricing, and we aren't having to do every little piece, but we're making the overall strategic judgment, which is super exciting. And did want to throw that in there, that our first conversation with Katrina was really what hooked us, because Michael threw out his big numbers and big goals where he wants us to be. And she's like, yep, we can make that happen, versus me going, we can't do that. And so right. I just love that, this is possible. We have the strategy, we have the tools, and whatever that dream is, like, let's take that action to get there. And there's no doubt, it's really just what action are you going to take to get to that goal?
Well, I love the dynamic between you two, because Holland's like, like, we got 3 right around the corner, maybe another 2 or 3. Michael's just like 10.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm Michael, so I'd be like 10, tomorrow. That's hilarious. Y'all are a great balance. This is going to be a lot of fun for you guys. I mean, I just obviously have a close relationship with Michael and Katrina just over the years, working with them in this capacity, and y'all just have a good time, so doing good business, doing it the right way. Obviously with loved ones, and obviously there's going to be perils along the way, but that's pretty cool. I'm super happy for y'all. What would be your take on, if someone's watching, who would be a good fit, maybe who would not be a good fit for this program based on your experience, a couple months in?
You have to be an action taker, or it will be a waste of your time and money, because if you're just listening and going, yes, this is really cool if that could happen. Or I have friends who tell me how cool that you have this second house and that you have these vacation rentals. And I go, it's not about having it. It's I worked to get here. I took the steps. We've done, we've been through the hard stuff as well. Are we going to lose the house based on the lending and the loans or whatever? There's a lot of stress with it. So you have to be willing to have that and then just keep pushing forward. You also have to be ready to take on risk. And no, this isn't always going to be known. You don't always know the outcome, but you're just pushing through. And so BNB Bootcamp, Michael and Katrina give us the tools and the mentoring every week. And we go, okay, we can do the actions for this week. We can do this next step that we need to take.
Yeah, they're very good at providing action steps. If you're watching a video in the video library, they explain a concept and they say, here's the action step. So it has to be somebody who's willing to stop learning. It isn't about like learning in your mind and theoretical, oh, well, then you do the X and the Y and it all comes together. It isn't about that. It's about learning something and then doing something. Learning X and doing Y immediately.
And doing it until it works.
Yeah, and then at that point, it's kind of rinse and repeat, and you guys are still in the mold. You guys made the investment up front. Obviously, it's going to pay off, and then you guys have that skill set moving forward. And it looks like y'all are going to become kind of fast friends along the way as well. Which, when you can do business with people that are enjoyable and you want them in kind of your inner circle like that, that just makes it it's kind of icing on the cake, if you will. So. If you had to do it all over again, and I think this at this point is probably a rhetorical question, would you do it?
Yes, because we would still be stuck with our first property going, how do we optimize this pricing? Do we lower our prices? Just all this questioning in our minds, what's going wrong? What do we need to improve versus having that structure, that expertise from Michael, Katrina, knowing this is how we got to do it. And it's even, here's what you need to do. Here's a bunch of things you don't need to do. It saves time and energy to know what you need to focus on. And so we're at this point with our multiple properties because we learn these strategies.
Yeah, it accelerated us so much down the short-term rental path. Like Michael and Katrina, they didn't have a Michael and Katrina above them. They figured it out.
No.
We're paying them to shortcut us maybe years down the road, and all the hassle and whatever amount of money we paid was well worth shortcutting years of mistakes and wasted time.
Yeah, not even profit loss, but the headaches and the heartaches and the sleepless nights. So what they've done is they've pioneered it. They've made every mistake. And I say that with all due respect, but I'm a business startup guy myself. I've made them all, right? And I'm proud of them. My scars I'm proud of because they got me where I'm at today. And if people can learn from those and not have to get them themselves, that's what we bring here on the channel, folks. So Michael and Katrina have been gracious enough for our channel partners, offer a nice little discount. And we always appreciate that. If you guys want to dive into the opportunity, the cost, and just a kind of quick snapshot of what that initial conversation will look like.
Yeah, for sure. I think I said us that question.
Yeah.
But I mean, really just kind of capping even this conversation, talking about like who this is for, who this is not for. Like, I think you guys hit on so many points, but also even from, both of you, what I've heard is that long-term perspective that you guys have is not that, I guess, type a few buttons and money will be spewing out. I mean, it has happened for, quite a few students. And even with your guys' story of putting that property up and being profitable month one is incredible. And you should be very proud of yourself. But having that long-term outlook is really important for anyone coming into the program because businesses take time. You guys are taking that shortcut, but they still take time. So we appreciate that. And you guys also, we could talk to a blue in the face, but if you're taking that action from what we say, that's the best result you can actually do because you get the quickest feedback, you fall the fastest, but get up the fastest. You have that sounding board and you guys are really utilizing your time while you're with us in the program, which we super appreciate. You guys are like dream clients. We love it. We love dream clients like that.
Just to answer Michael's question. So how we work with the BNB Bootcamp. So our program is over a 4-month period. Okay. And what we really focus on and our goal and objective for anyone that's looking to come into this training is we want to show you a process that produces an outcome. And that process is how can you control other people's assets without having to have any ownership in them and generate an income from other people's properties without having to own them. Okay, so that's what we specialize in. So over a 4-month period, you're going to learn all the intricacies, all the steps, all the checklists. Like Michael was saying about the mistakes we have made and all the lessons we've learned.
They're in there.
We like to say to our students all the time when they're going through challenges, we just kind of smile and nod our head and go, "Yep, been there, done that, got the T-shirt."
Yeah, but you guys are yeah, you guys are learning quick, which is good. And avoiding things that we don't want you to hit either, which is really important. So anyone coming in that's feeling is like, I want to start this either from scratch, or I have a few properties I really want to learn it the right way. Foundations are super important to us, but also just building a sustainable long-term business. So with VIP, so our typical program does start at $12K US. However, with VIP and the special relationship we have with them, we do offer it for $9,997. So just under $10,000 for anyone taking action and are ready to get going and feel it's a really good alignment and good fit.
We do also offer installment plans and third-party funding as well. So if cash up front is potentially a concern, we do have quite a number of other arrangements that could be appropriate depending on what that person's situations look like. But again, we're very transparent. We want to be upfront. We want to be respectful of your time, and we want to be mindful of ours as well. So
alignment's really big for us, guys. So we want to make sure it's like we can actually help you, but you also can take that action and change your life. And that's who we love to coach, and this is why we do what we do.
Final thing I'll say on that is just, if that sounds like a lot of money to anyone that's watching this going, well, 10K for a program, yeah, what a bunch of BS that is. Let me just ask you a question, because ultimately, if 10K sounds like a lot of money, 10K is all, but let's just say you have aspirations of achieving financial freedom, perhaps becoming a millionaire, but 10K sounds like a lot. Well, 10K is always going to be a lot of money for you. So what I would suggest is
it's all relative.
It's all relative, isn't it? Because if you can learn the skills of what it takes to actually create something that's you fully 100% control, where you can really ratchet up your own income and not have it dependent on someone where they might decide they don't like you one day and all of a sudden you're out of work. What's the value of that?
Yeah.
Right. So
guys, this is really just an opportunity to control your income, start your own business right from scratch. And if it's good alignment, please hop on the call with us, and we'd love to chat.
No, I love that, guys. And you guys keep it really, you keep it real on the call. So I've talked to a lot of folks on what that initial consultation call is like. And well, guys, it's not going to be a good fit for everyone. In fact, it's probably not going to be. If you don't want to put the time, or you don't have the time, aren't able to put the effort in, probably not the right fit. For those of you that are tired of being beholden to the man, tired of working the W-2 and making someone else more money with your hard work, this might be the right fit for you. We'll drop the link for the email below. Guys, love having you on. Michael and Holland, would love to have you guys back on here for an update here in a couple months, if you guys are willing. We're going to continue to bring BNB Bootcamp here on the channel for the very, again, singular reason. Guys, people are crushing it right now. There's nothing hotter than the STR space. We're going to continue to bring more STR content here on the channel. Thanks for taking time out of your busy day, and we will see you on the next video. Thanks. Take care.